A good morning to all of the students, their parents, and other well-wishers who have joined this first session of the orientation program. I'm extremely happy to welcome all of you to Shastra on behalf of the management, of faculty, your senior students, the institution's alumni, all other well-wishers of Shastra, and on my personal behalf. I am S. Vaidhyasubramaniam, the Vice Chancellor of the university. And for this first session, I am joined by a very distinguished set of alumni of the institution, Mr. Sridhar Gopalan, Mrs. Vanita Suresh, Kayalviri, Rohint Natarajan, Kripa Ramachandran, all of them who have graduated from Shastra during different phases. And in the next 90 minutes that we will be having this orientation for you, you will hear from them, their experiences as well. Now, before I go into the details of the first session, I'm sure most of you would have gone through the detailed orientation schedule. So we have managed to put in place an orientation that is as comprehensive as possible to address the different dimensions of shaping an individual's career as they stay here at Shastra for their 2-year or 3-year or 4-year or 5-year programs that they have been admitted to. Now, while the detailed schedule will open up its characteristics as you begin to experience them in the next 15 days, the first session today, it's my honor to give a quick background about Shastra to lead you into an institution that has seen various stages of growth and achieving different milestones ever since it started in 1984. While the first session, I would do my best to make it as interactive in a sense that I will involve more than one speaker, that's myself. I'll have the alumni also adding variety to the session, which means that we will not be having a question and answer session for this first session alone. And the subsequent sessions, there is more about Shastra that we want students to know, in which we will take up a lot of questions. So this session is a self-introduction about the institution by those who have been responsible for the growth of the institution. Shastra is an acronym for Shanmuga Arts, Science, Technology and Research Academy. And when it was started in 1984, it was called the Shanmuga College of Engineering. And that was the time that the concept of self-financing colleges was first introduced in the state of Tamil Nadu. And Shastra was one of the 4 institutions that was given permission by the state to start an engineering college. And most of you, since parents are also joining this orientation, you know those days engineering means it was mechanical, civil and electrical engineering, and that's all. So likewise, we started off with mechanical engineering, civil engineering and electrical engineering. And those were the traditional disciplines. And as an affiliated college, we started small, but our thoughts were always big. We started in 84 with these 3 disciplines. And Mr. Sridhar, who's an alumni who's going to address you today, was one of those lucky students who joined the first batch in 1984. After which, there was no looking back for the institution. We made a progressive march in the field of engineering education because that was the limited purpose for which we started the institution in 1984. And the All India Council for Technical Education, which today is the statutory body that governs technical education in the country, was conceptualized and formulated in 1987. The institution immediately got itself approved by the AICTE in 1990, and then started a couple of postgraduate engineering programs. And then in 1996, the National Board of Accreditation, which is again autonomous body that accredits engineering programs, was established by AICTE. And that point of time, the Shanmuga College of Engineering, as it was known, was the first self-financing private engineering college. And why self-financing private? Even amongst certain government institutions, volunteered itself for accreditation and got its program accredited with maximum grades. So that was the spirit, the confidence, I should say, that a progressive private institution was able to demonstrate right from its formative years to get itself voluntarily accredited by a national accrediting body, coming out with excellent grades. After which we started other engineering programs as well. Just before the accreditation, we started the computer science and electronics and communication. And after becoming accredited, we also became an autonomous institution. And then based on the recommendations of the All India Council for Technical Education, followed by the UGC's recommendation in 2000, the institution, which was Shanmuga College of Engineering, got renamed as Shanmuga Arts, Science, Technology and Research Academy, only to be conferred with a deemed university status in 2001. And that was the time that we were, I should say, in an institutional tryst with research. So that was the time in 2000 that we also set up the TIFAC core in advanced computing and information processing. And that's a landmark initiative of our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, whose vision was to create such TIFACs all over the country. And Sastra was one of the first institutions in which a Center for Relevance and Excellence in Advanced Computing was established in 2000. So this brought us into the frontiers of research, and the deemed university status in 2001, I should say, was a catalyst to the research pursuit that the institution wanted to make. So after becoming a university in 2001, our focus towards education also started acquiring new dimensions, that it no longer wanted itself to be positioned as a teaching institution, but also a research institution delivering meaningful research, and very strongly believed in teaching and other social engagement as natural quality derivatives of research. So that's the comprehensive view that the institution took since 2001, to be viewed as an institution that sees the convergence of teaching, training, research, and consultancy to make it truly an integrated university. So with this research dimension also being added to the institutional strength, the university then became accredited by NAC. And as we speak today, 3 cycles of accreditation by NAC has been completed. And our current grading from NAC is 3.54 on a scale of 4, making it a Category 1 university as per the graded autonomy regulations of the UGC, which means we belong to certain set of high-performing universities in Category 1 status. Not only were we accredited by national accrediting agencies, but also Sastra figures in almost all the global rankings, the Times Higher Education or the QS World University Rankings, or Asia Rankings, or Young University, or BRICS Nation. So in all of these rankings as well, Shastra's significant presence is notable also. And international accreditation, talking about it, the university's engineering programs, 11 of the engineering programs of the university is accredited by IET UK for a record period of 9 years, making it the only institution in the country for having a longest accreditation awarded by IET in its history. So that's the international accreditation part here. So over a period of time from 1984 up to now, the institution has seen a series of progressive measures that put in place an evolutionary mechanism that has an inherent ability to add incremental value to the institution's growth year on year. I don't want to take all of your time in explaining each of the incremental growth that we achieved, but just would like to pause here before I invite Sridhar, but to convey a message that the institution always believes in incremental growth added every year, so that students who join this institution every year, they are part of this growth story. And students who study in the institution for whatever duration, they are also responsible for this growth story. So from 1984 to 2020, the institution symbolizes some form of growth in terms of new programs, new initiatives, new research centers, center of excellence in different thematic areas, engagement with society. So all of this, every year, we make sure that we make a positively significant impact on the stakeholders with whom we interact. So this has scripted the growth story of the institution from 1984 to as we see it today as Shastra. Now, to explain this growth story, it would be better if I have somebody, an alumnus who was not only a student of the first batch, but also continued to be a very contributing observer to Shastra's growth story. As I invite Mr. Sridhar Gopalan, before he addresses the audience here, I request him to just quickly introduce himself and then share in his view as to how, as part of this transformation story of Shastra, he feels as a proud alumni of Shastra, and how he would like to welcome the freshers batch. Over to you, Mr. Sridhar Gopalan. Please unmute yourself and then begin.
Okay. Is it? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Vaidya. I really appreciate it. It's a beautiful morning here. All the fresh students, and this is a very magnanimous opportunity for me. Going back now, 36 years. I told my dad, my father is 96, and I told him that I've been asked to give a speech to the fresh batch of students. And he said, he is the one who took me to the college from Chennai. I said, I remember very vividly, when you joined 84, there was one small building there and a set of benches, and within that they were running the classes, right? So he vividly recalled. In fact, after he told, my mind's eye, I was able to recall very clearly what was the library, what was Professor T.R. Rajagopalan principal's room. It was a small setup at that point in time, because that is the year we had gotten the approval from the state government, and we the trustees of the institute, great people, they all put together and got into the three major engineering classes that Vaidya was mentioning just now: mechanical, civil, electrical, and electronics. And right after a month or so, there was an accreditation body that visited the college and everything. And they said, okay, see, this is inadequate. We need more facilities. Just imagine our plight. We have just completed our +2 and joined, and we were kind of uncertain what was going to happen. What is this accreditation? That's a word which I heard first time in my life at that time. And immediately they all sprung into action. They improved the facilities to their standards and probably even beyond. And we were in a position to start the courses only after the accreditation. So by that time it was November of 1984. Technically the classes started, and we had to give the first year final exam during the month of April of 1985. And we are competing with, mind you, regional engineering college students. Now it is known as NIT. Under Bharathidasan University, at those days, only 2 engineering colleges were there, ours and NIT. They are a massive institute, and Professor T.R. Rajagopalan said, guys, this is an opportunity to prove your worth, go for it. We had 10 papers, and all 10 papers, our professors, esteemed professors, fantastic. They sat with us. We had college run for 6.5 days of the week, including Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, we would get a break to wash our clothes in the hostel, clean up and everything. Again, Monday morning, the classes. So for 6.5 days of classes for the next 6 months. And our students got ranks, first rank, competing with the RE students who had all facilities. And we came out in great merits, and there was no looking back. This is amazing story. Now, 36 years, I am still associated. My dad said, hey, you're still in some form or the other, you keep going to the college, right? So, yes, 36 years of association and a bonding doesn't come so easily, because what the alma mater has given us. I work for IBM now. I've been working with IBM for now close to 15 years. And as part of our hiring initiative, we do go back to the university to hire new students. That had been the routine for several years. And I always look forward to going back to the college and talking to the students, and inspire them to join IBM. And we always got the cream students, and it is a great experience. Now, what Vaidya was mentioning just a few minutes before, there's been a progressive, continuous improvement. Year on year, the college would come out, the institute, the university would come out with some unique, novel idea, novel, thought process to bring the cognition, right? So the innovation involving students, getting them to go to several competitions, and everywhere they go to the top, right? And on the top of all these things, the university had a knack of binding everybody together. That's not easy. That's not easy, actually, because the moment you come out of the university, you have your own career, you have your own images, you go on to other institutes, you see something different, a different perspective comes into us. But the base, the foundation, what the institute has given is still so fresh and beautiful, and we are extremely grateful to the institute, to the alma mater, that I come back.
So thank you, Sridhar, for kind of retracing your experience with this institution that you've been having for the last 36 years, which is only going to grow stronger and stronger in the years to come. So thank you very much for the natural exposition. Thanks. And I still remember you recalling these 6.5 days of classes, which proved to be so worthy that, in your batch, I'm sure you will remember that the university gold medalist was from this institution.
Yes.
In fact, that was the most talked issue at that point of time, where an institution's first graduating batch got the engineering gold medal of Bharathidasan University, even beating students from the regional engineering college, Trichy. And that was, in fact, a moment of pride for the first batch in 1988. Thank you, Sridharan, and I sincerely appreciate taking your time off. Sridharan has been a very good well-wisher, and he continues to also teach at Shastra, taking some of these emerging courses. He teaches also organic farming for those who really have some interest in farming. He is a technology expert as well as got his own passion for agriculture and does his own cultivation in his own farmland. So he teaches also organic farming to our students. So thank you, Sridharan. Please stay for the panel discussion to hear from
Definitely. Yes.
juniors as well. Now, moving forward, this type of a progressive institution always has a deeply embedded value system in its framework, which the institution always ensures that it doesn't compromise. So this institution was set up on certain set of foundational values, and by value, I'm tempted to recall the definition for the word value that Swami Dayananda Saraswati used to often say. A value is a value if the value of the value is valuable to oneself. So it has to be valuable to oneself. Self, individual, or an institution, the individual or the institution has to cherish and uphold those values. So, as an institution, we are definitely deeply rooted into certain foundational value structures that puts in place all mechanisms that is essential to build a superstructure that you see today. Now, some of the values and ethos that the institution carries with it, nationalism, a sense of discipline, a sense of moral conduct, and you have directly witnessed as students joining this institution how we value merit, transparency in the admission. We don't believe in collecting capitation or donation or anything of that form for admission. So cleanly done, because we believe that a student who gets an admission on his or own merit, that's the best way to reward a student's performance. A student will be more happy in getting an admission on his or her own marks than the fact that their parents knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody and then they got an admission. But if a student gets an admission on his or own merit, that's the best way to reward a student's achievements in school life. So that's one value that we hold very close together, and that's why our tagline also reads, think merit, think transparency, think Shastra. And we also value our engagement with the society. We believe that we are responsible not only for our students' development, who in turn are responsible for the institution's development, but as students and the institution, we are also responsible for our societal development, and that is why we engage with a lot of social projects involving our immediate neighborhood village ecosystem, the state, the center. And that's one of the main reasons that of the seats that we have, till last year 20% of the seats we said we are going to give it to students from Trichy and Tanjavur, because we felt that we should be more responsive to our neighbor districts. And this year, because of COVID, we increased the 20% to 30%, which the neighborhood districts received with open arms, saying that they were so excited about this increase from 20 to 30. So to that extent, we know we also want to be responsive, not only to students from different places, but to our immediate ecosystem. We work closely with villages. Now, all this is possible because of a generous management on one side and a committed faculty also on the other side. But the instrumentalities, the foot soldiers who make this possible are the students who engage with us so deeply in many of our social development projects. And in the process, their individual value system also gets enriched with all these value elements that I told you before, and that sets in their body, mind, and soul. And that's one of the reasons why our graduates continue to display this value system wherever they move forward in their workplace or wherever they go in the future. And to talk about that value system and how we care about different people from different background, I invite Mrs. Vanitha Venkatraman. Please introduce yourself before you share your experiences and how the value system has made you what you are today. And I must specifically thank Vanita for taking the time off. I know you are in a different time zone. She is going to address us from Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. So over to you, Vanita.
Good morning, everybody. I'm a very proud Sastra alumna. It used to be Shanmuga College of Engineering. Those days, I graduated from the 1996 batch in Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering and was also Vaidhy's classmate at that time. I was one of those lucky few people who was able to transfer to Sastra from a nearby women's engineering college. The reason I emphasize women's engineering college is that I had learned far more things and felt a lot more safer in a co-ed college like Sastra than I even did in the other college. And I won't name the college, but I was a day scholar commuting from Srirangam to Thirumalai Samudram every day. So it was almost a 2-hour bus ride in the evenings and a 1.5-hour bus ride in the mornings. I would have to change 3 buses. It was the first time my family members had ever let me go out of home to an engineering college, to even a co-ed college, because I was throughout in a girls' convent, and I joined the other engineering college because it was a women's college. But my parents, my mother and my brothers and my sister, they all felt far more safer sending me to a college like Shanmuga College of Engineering, which is Sastra now. And that is primarily because of the amount of care and attention that was given to girls. And I have several examples to quote from. A very beautiful example from from the annual day celebration that we had, and I will come to that later. But I was one of the 3 girls in a class of 72 students in electronics and instrumentation. I was the first woman engineer to be selected on campus by Siemens in almost 10 years. And I played a very active role in the college orchestra, in quizzes, in oratorical competitions, and nowhere was I ever stopped from progressing or doing anything that the others did because I was a girl. And that's something I completely attribute to Sastra. In this annual, there was like this annual day celebration, and my mother and my brother were there. They were also present, and I was singing in the college orchestra. It was almost 10 p.m. in the night, and after a certain point, I just went up to the chairman, our Sri Sethuraman sir, and I had to, bid bye, and I said, "Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity for being part of the annual day celebration. I would like to head home now. My mother and my brother are there." The first thing he said was, "I'm not letting you go home alone at this time." And he sent us in his car with his driver, Sebastian, with whom I still interface. This driver dropped us all the way back home, Srirangam, from Thirumalai Samudram, which is like almost a 1.5-hour drive, and then drove back all the way to college. And that's an incident I will never ever forget. It left an indelible mark in my mind because it's the sort of care that I would have never expected from any school or college. And besides engineering itself, which I really learned a lot in those 4 years, there were a lot of values that I learned that I continue to keep with me despite being away from home for almost 22 years. For the last 22 years, I've been in the United States, but I'm even more Indian than before. And the education that I received was very holistic in Sastra. Empathy, culture, ethics, moral values, a strong emphasis on arts, and most importantly, a humanitarian approach. It laid the base for a lot of the philanthropic activity that I do today as part of my nonprofit. So today I'm a full-time software professional with a master's in computer science from University of Wisconsin-Madison. I'm the founder director of SciArt Services, which is a nonprofit that aims to disseminate STEAM knowledge to fill up gaps in K-12 education here in the United States. I also run a school called Arohana Arts Academy, which is affiliated with the International Foundation for Carnatic Music. And I teach Carnatic music to second-generation Indian kids here who are strongly looking to connect to their cultural roots. I'm also the executive director of another nonprofit called Melhamni Foundation. A few years ago, I also taught an elective course on Carnatic music to students of Sastra via Skype. And my husband, who is a professor at the University of Wisconsin, has had the privilege of having several students from Sastra come and join him for periods of time. And he has always been extremely impressed with the quality of the students who come from Sastra. And he's comparing them to students from IIT and from several other the NITs, and never been let down by students from Sastra. All in all, I should say that it's an institution that I will continue to be in touch with for the rest of my life. And there are so many aspects. I'm still part of the Sastra Satsang Sabha that was started recently. I continue to get opportunities to perform there, which I'm very grateful for. And many of the opportunities that I've gotten in arts have been primarily because of my connection with Sastra. And without any more, I don't think I don't know if I've taken up too much of your time, but I'd like to say that I'm extremely proud, and I wish Sastra students great success. And for the girls out there is nothing that will stop you from progressing. You will be extremely successful being part of Sastra, and you will feel extremely safe and protected. And at the same time, the sky is the limit. You will be able to do a lot that you would not have imagined.
So thank you, Vanita, for the extremely gracious words that is in a way conveying a very powerful message, especially for the girl students and those who are joining the engineering program, because all along we've been having the impression that engineering is a masculine degree program. And I remember Vanita defying the definitive standards of gender in engineering when she boldly stood up in the campus interview. That was the first time Siemens, a multinational giant, comes to Shanmuga College of Engineering for campus recruitment. And when 300 of the students were sitting there, I still remember her raising and asking, why don't you recruit girl students? And that immediately took everybody by shock. And she did prove by merit and got an offer, and we also worked together. And these are instances that prove the opportunities that are available for students from different backgrounds are plenty, and it is only the sheer hard work, determination that will take you to different places, and that definitely requires an uncompromising set of values. And over a period of time, we have seen that more and more girls have also come into engineering programs. And as I speak today, 40 to 45% of the students who join the engineering programs are girl students. So I'm extremely happy that more and more girls are joining. In fact, those were the days we didn't have girls hostel at all. And today we have around 5 to 6 girls hostel accommodating around 2,500 girl students on campus. So that's the extent to which we have been growing and seeing a lot of students coming from far off places. So thank you, Vanita, for those generous words. So going forward, it is not just, the shaping of individual value set and skill set, but then taking it to a natural step forward in shaping their careers is what an institution like Sastra does. And by career, it doesn't mean that, the programs that they are enrolled, be it the engineering or the law or the management or whatever the degree program that they are enrolled with. It is not just the coursework, the credit structure, the marks that you get. That's very important, but that's one part of your success story. There are many students who have different aspirations as they enter college and university campuses like ours. Some would come with an aspiration and say, I want to become a computer science engineer and I want to work for Microsoft or Amazon and their likes. Some would come and join a program and say, I want to be my own boss, that I want to be an entrepreneur. So I don't want to go and work for anybody, but I want to be an entrepreneur. Some would say, I want to be in active social service and join NGOs and other civil societies and working for a noble cause in the socio-economic upliftment of the society at large. There are some who say, I want to put my service to the nation. I mean, not that others are not, but working for government agencies, working for government organizations through the civil service or the Railway Recruitment Board or the BSRB or whatever the competitive examinations are. Now, these are the type of career profiles that get built inside the Shastra University campus. And such career profiles are made not only by the coursework that they study, but also the set of activities that revolve around the coursework. Now, these activities that form the periphery to the coursework are the ones that really open up the opportunities for such career profiles. Be it, coaching for competitive examinations like a GATE or a CAT or a GMAT that opens up higher education opportunities, or through SAGE, which is Sastra Academy for Growth and Excellence, where we train students for civil services examination that provides a pathway for students who have interest in civil service, or the personality development and other placement and training programs that we conduct are the ones that give students their first job, because there are some students who actually want a first job to make a difference in their career. So we handle different sets of career aspirations from different students, and it is a complicated task, and I am not stealing the success away from the students' contribution. They are struggling hard, they are working hard more than the institution itself, because unless you have that aspiration without compromising on it till the last mile, it is a difficult task. And it is only students with that type of an aspirational strength who will make a difference. And I have with me one such student who shone with the difference, wanted to make it big in civil services, Rohint Natarajan. Currently, he is an IRS officer, and he had a different civil service stint about which I'm sure he should explain, because I feel more excited to hear from him. And I saw him in that, CRPF uniform. I felt so proud that, one of my students wearing that uniform, it really made me feel so proud. So Rohint Natarajan should be sharing his experience of studying an engineering program, part of ACRS or all the rigmarole of an engineering course structure, and then shifting towards civil services, acquiring new identity, which is a dual identity, which he will himself explain in his own words. Rohint Natarajan.
Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir. A very good morning to one and all. I am Rohint, and I am a pass out of the 2014 batch from the mechanical engineering stream. And at the outset, I'd like to congratulate you all for having chosen Shastra University, because they say a journey well begun is a journey half done. So I think you've taken the first step in the right direction. Your journey is long, and the first step should have been right. So I congratulate you for that. And to tell about myself, initially I was in CRPF, that is the paramilitary, and subsequently I also cleared the civil services examination. That is, in common parlance, people call it as the IAS exam. And I have been allotted in the Indian Revenue Service, that is the Income Tax Department. So I'm an assistant commissioner as of now. And I think I'll stop at there. And I'd like to share something about the college, our university, Shastra University. It has been a very crucial element in my success. I mean, sir has been very humble. He's given the credit entirely to the students for their success, but I think he has downplayed it to a great extent. But I believe that the grooming, the parentage at Shastra University is one of the crucial aspects which has helped me reach wherever I am today. So, like I said, I use the word parentage. It is not an ordinary institution. It is not an educational institution like others where I'm really sorry to say, but other institutions have always been about money making and other profit making aspects. However, Shastra is unlike those. In fact, Shastra was the one and only college which I came for counseling. It was the final one. I came here, I joined because, as Sir previously said, it is all about merit. And if you're here, you don't have to worry about anyone else stealing your opportunity. So that is, I mean, right from the beginning, Shastra tells you that if you are meritorious, you will deserve what you are ought to. So I think, I mean, Shastra is such a beautiful parent. I have been brought up in a family of armed forces. So my father is an army officer. I mean, my life has been I've been brought up in a very disciplined manner. So Shastra too has been such a parent who shows their child the right direction. So if you are going in the right direction, the sky is the limit for you. That is what even our previous speaker, Mrs. Vanita Suresh, had said. So similarly, here also, if you are going in the right direction, sky is the limit. Shastra won't clip your wings in any manner. However, if at all if there is any scope of you going in the wrong direction, they will put in barriers. They will block your path in that direction because that is not the direction you're supposed to go. So that is what a good parent does, and that is exactly what Shastra has been doing, and they have been very kind enough to look into it, all these aspects beforehand. So that is why I use the word parentage. And coming over to as I previously told, my father is an army officer, and a lot of my family, my relatives also are in the armed forces. So since the beginning, I had shown inclination towards the services. So as soon as I joined Shastra in the year 2010, within a few weeks, I had shown inclination to attend the NDA exam, NDA interview. I had already cleared the exam, so I had wished to go for the selection. And there was not a single ounce of hesitation from the authority. I mean, I had just joined a few weeks back, and I was asking to leave probably. In all eventuality, if I had got selected, I would have left. But they didn't show any sort of hesitancy in letting me go for the 5-day interview process. However, I didn't clear it, but they had given me that encouragement, that that push that was required, that yes, we are behind you. So that was there right from the beginning. And subsequently, I continued in Shastra because I didn't clear that interview. Nevertheless, it provided me the opportunity to build myself, to build my personality, and also, to express my service-oriented bent of mind in various ways. There were both formal and informal ways. When I say formal, there is NSS, that is and also NCC is present in our college. I was part of the NSS, and I mean, we were always taken out for providing services to the local villages or the temple, or wherever there was an opportunity where we could interact with the general public and provide them services, because we are young students, youthful, our blood is all warm and we are energetic. So Shastra was giving us the platform to perform, to showcase our service-oriented bent of mind. And apart from that, also, you see, in our college, there is a lot of other informal, the formal as well as informal platforms where you can express your, inclinations. So one is that you have this HR department wherein your personality grooming is taken up. Therein, if I had expressed that I wish to join the armed forces, I wish to go into the services, and all the staff, all the professors in the department had encouraged me, and they had given me the guidance. They provided me whatever they could in terms of personality development. And also, apart from that, there are a lot of other ways in which Shastra caters forward to the grooming. In fact, there are so many events in informal nature, that is amongst the peers, the peer competition, that is elocution and the English literary clubs. So basically, herein you get to explore yourself, you build your personality. So these are some things which help me in reaching wherever today I am. So it is all thanks to Shastra that I mean, the grooming that they are providing, it is completely in the form of a parentage. And today, what I'm saying will, I mean, in the coming years, when you pass out from Shastra, I am sure you will feel the same, the way I am feeling, that whatever had happened, whatever they had done was in our best interest. Like, just like a parent who looks after the child, every single minute aspect was looked after very carefully. And in fact, since I and maybe few others were showing inclination towards the services, Shastra invited the Indian Navy in the university entry scheme to come and recruit students for the officer ranks. And it was a very pleasant surprise to me. However, again, I didn't clear that. And Air Force also was conducting examinations, and Shastra was very forthcoming in sending the students to attend all these examinations and selection processes for the armed forces. However, despite, I mean, I had given multiple attempts and I didn't clear, but that is no fault to Shastra and its parentage. So eventually I cleared the paramilitary, and I got to serve at the border, Indo-Pak border. And subsequently I went into the Indian civil services. I cleared the civil services exam, and I have been put into Indian Revenue Service. So I think the mental and physical stamina that Shastra has built in has provided me the officer-like qualities that are required to serve the nation in this capacity. Because I mean, in your journey, if these forthcoming 4 or 5 years, you will realize that as a person, you will be strengthened. There will be a lot of minute aspects which Shastra has looked into. As to quote one, during our times, there were some restrictions on the number of times you could travel home. So in a semester, it was only twice. And I used to go only once in, I mean, during the semester breaks, because my parents were living quite far. But that, the sense of independence that it gave me, I became, I mean, it actually bridged the gap of a boy becoming a man. I was completely independent during those 4 years. I was all by myself. And however, it is, Shastra is giving everything in the right proportions. It is a concoction of every good thing in the right amount. Anything in excess is poison. So I think there are multiple examples that I can quote, but I will be overshooting my time limit. So nevertheless, I would just like to touch upon one point, that I am not the first one who has cleared civil services. I'm probably the youngest and the junior most amongst all Shastra alumni. And there are so many people who have cleared before me, and there will be so many people after me. If an opportunity presents itself, me and my seniors will definitely come and guide you regarding this. And if you have a service bent of mind, then civil services is definitely one of them. And similarly, the military services, the armed forces, also can be explored. I request you all to look into this. And Shastra is the right place, because it has both NSS and NCC to showcase your service-oriented nature. So once again, I thank Shastra with my. I have so much gratitude for Shastra for whatever it has made out of me, And thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to come back. It's a great honor. And thank you, sir. And I wish every one of you a very bright future and all the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Rohit, for the nationalist flavor that you have added to this panel discussion. Thanks for the unsolicited encomiums on the institute coming from an income tax officer, saying that we are not money minded. That's in fact a good recognition. I must thank you for that. And as you rightly pointed out, there are your seniors and juniors who have also cleared civil services and taken up different assignments. And thanks for your voluntary offer to also engage with us, which I'm sure will take it up so that people like you can channelize the resources, the student resources at Shastra into civil services and other forms of service to the nation. And I'm sure you'll be glad to know that this batch, we had a student who cleared the UPSC with an All India rank of 283 from Andhra, who will be joining the civil services, most likely the IAS cadre soon. So we will continue to use your expertise in churning out more graduates and making them a part of the civil services or any other form of service to the nation. Thank you, Rohit. So moving forward, I pick a thread from Rohit. He talked about the student clubs and the various other co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Now, that is one thing that, Shastra is also equally proud that it shares in almost all platforms. That on one hand, we celebrate the success of our faculty and students getting job offers, faculty publishing in reputed journals, bringing grants for research, working on cutting edge research. This is all happening in one side. And on the other side, the latent talent of the students who come here to Shastra, they are all very good, not only in their academics, but some of them are endowed with some rich skills in fine arts, debating or music or any other form of extracurricular activities. And the second part that we are also equally proud is, as I told you before, that we have students from different parts of the country, but we don't blow our trumpet and say 80% of the students are outside Tamil Nadu or come from different parts, and that's the type of campus it is. We value every student who comes here. They represent the committee of our nation from different states. So that's the type of community that we build here. And that's one of the reasons, we also are responsive to the local community here, giving them the right amount of seats reserved for them. Now, there are also students who come from different backgrounds. And though, the engineering or law or any of these degree programs, has always been viewed as a program with kind of a different mindset that requires special talents. But actually, it is not that way at all. As long as the students have the right attitude, the right skill set, the right cognitive skills to comprehend the subject matter that they have chosen to study, then, the whatever inherent handicap that a student will have disappears. Now, that's the type of ecosystem that as an institution we build to make sure that students from different backgrounds, once they enter into the university, they have access to the right type of training. They are not left behind, even if there are some deficiencies, or students who want to come and participate because of their lack of opportunities during their schooling years, they feel shy, they don't come. So we identify that latent talent. Anyway, during the part of the orientation, there will be separate student sessions where such auditions will be done to pick students to represent different clubs. So one student who really caught my attention, I know students for two reasons. One, that they are very good. So students are popular because they are very good and they do well in academics, they do well in culturals, or they're notorious. So these are the two types of students who catch my attention. So Kyle really belongs to the first category, a very promising bundle of talent. When she joined this institution, I still remember she was the one who was responsible for setting up the Sastra Tamil Sangam, and a very good orator herself. She represented the university in different cultural competitions, and as she shows her face today, I'm sure some of you can vividly remember seeing her in some TV channels, because she is a good orator. She represented the university in one such TV channel program, and she won a special award for the university. And that's on the cultural side, and she's made a very good career for herself. So, a student who came from a village in Tiruvannamalai, I was so impressed by her diction, her language, her hard work, her commitment, her enthusiasm in participating in all activities. And that's one of the reasons I requested her to address this panel, to share her experience as to how she managed this journey at Shastra, where she met different types of friends from different states. And right from the word go, how she led from the front, and how boldly she faced competition, worked for premier organizations, premium organizations, and then what she is today. So, Kayalvi, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. So, welcome all of you to the Sastra family. The reason why I call this a family is because once you become a part of this community, there is no looking back. Now, when I look back, it's been 7 years that I graduated from Sastra. I graduated in 2013. All the best friends who are still a part of my family are from the Sastra community. And as sir pointed out, when I joined from a remote place. I'm in Tiruvannamalai. Yeah, I went to a good school. But when I came in here, I did not even know anything about Sastra. When, he was addressing about IRS and all that, people had plans of what they wanted to become when they graduate college. But when I came, I didn't know anything. I was like, I'm going to do computer science engineering. I'm good at debating. I'll find ways if I can, I'm interested in Tamil literature. Let me see if I have an opportunity to explore that in college also, because many people stop once, pursuing all their interests once they're out of their school. So I thought I'll find that way. And Sastra has provided me every opportunity to explore anything that I wanted to really explore. I still remember the day when I actually went into Dr. Vaidya sir's room saying I want to start a reading club for Tamil books, right? So when I went, I was really scared. I didn't know how it will be taken, because I was from a place where I was not ready to, I was not encouraged to speak up, go ask for opportunities. The only thing is, Sastra, everyone said what kind of a parentage Sastra provides, what kind of safety Sastra provides. I want to speak about what kind of an autonomy Sastra provides. So if you're good at something, if you want to drive something for your own good and for the community's good, whatever it is, in whatever field it is, Sastra provides a platform for you to do that. And I would try to remember every cultural event we attended as a part of the students' community, to an extent where when we come back from our cultural, sir would ask, aren't you guys bored of winning this trophy again and again? So this has been a culture, a tradition where any culturals we go, the other college students would say, oh, Sastra has come, right? So that is the kind of an image Sastra has had in any intercollegiate competitions and culturals, right? So there were different events we represented the college in, and we represented our college in a Vijay television TV intercollegiate debate show. We won many rounds of it. And we organized the intercollegiate cultural Kurukshastra. I would urge every one of you to explore any opportunity that is provided on campus. If you're like me, who doesn't know what you exactly want to do in college, right? Or after college, this is the place where you can network with all kinds of people. There will be many people like Rohin who will say, I want to become a civil service officer. And there will be people who want to take GRE, GMAT, and any opportunities for that matter. So it is up to you to network to a lot of people, your own, batchmates, seniors, juniors. There is no restriction in the way you network in Sastra, because it is again a family. That's how the institution sees it. That's how every member of this family sees it. So if you can network, find those opportunities and make use of it, you will actually become a better version of yourself. It is like a magnifying glass. So whatever you put in, your effort, your hard work, whatever you put in, Sastra magnifies it to the next level and takes it a notch higher. If you want to sleep, eat, and watch movies all night, you can choose to do it. But no one is going to pull your collar up and say you're not supposed to do that in hostel. But if you want to explore more opportunities, I would really encourage you to explore every orientation that is conducted and see what suits you, because that could drive your career altogether. After that, I went, after working in a premium organization of Surset, I moved to IMA to do my post-graduation. I am Ahmedabad. And after my post-graduation, now I am in an AVP level in an organization. So balancing academics and whatever your main goal is, along with extracurricular and co-curricular activities, is totally possible if you are ready to put in the hard work, and Sastra provides every opportunity and platform to do that. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. All the very best to everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Kayalviri. She mentioned about getting bored of winning trophies. It is the Festember, which is REC, and now it is NAT Trichy. That's the one she's mentioning. And of course, we win the culturals conducted by JIPMER or CMC Vellore or VIT. So any of these premier cultural events, Shastra walks back with the overall trophy. And Festember is a unique record. You see, from 1997 onwards, I'm sure Vanita knows about Festember. She's also been part of the culturals team. 1997 onwards, we've been winning the overall trophy continuously, except on 2 occasions. On one occasion, we didn't participate. The second occasion, we finished the first runners-up. But nevertheless, the last 20 times that we have won, it is always a new feeling. Thanks to COVID this time, that has given us the winning break. But anyway, we'll walk back with the trophy next year. So that's the spirit of involving students, not only in curricular, but extracurricular activities. And Kayalviri, you mentioned about hostel. We will, allow students to watch movies, sleep. That rule has changed a little bit. So now, if you fall short of attendance staying in the hostel, you will not get your hostel accommodation for the next semester. So that rule has changed. Anyway, about that, we'll be talking more in the subsequent sessions.
Sure,
but thanks for those encouraging words, which I'm sure will give students that spark of hope to display their other creative talents, and they feel confident they can continue to do what they are good at, making this transition from school to college. Thank you, Kayal. Moving forward, the way in which Shastra always plans its new initiatives, it puts in place a very good thought process that analyzes the pros and cons and the growing demand for professionals and certain type of graduates who will elevate the quality of the society at large. Going with the same tradition of our efforts to start these new programs, we wanted to also build a very good law school. Now, those were the times where, a private initiative in law was very marginal. And after becoming a university, we thought of starting a law school, which we managed to do in the year 2008. Now, the law school, again, there are students who have joined the Sastra School of Law in this freshman batch. The law school is driven more by a passion to churn out law graduates who will enrich and elevate the quality of the bar as practicing professionals. And I still remember the first batch that joined the law school in 2008. We had only 7 students joining that batch. But that did not deter our spirits from running the program, because as I told you before, that was something that was close to our management's heart, because we wanted to really build a good law school. And a law school has touched various other academic disciplines. The interface that it has built with the engineering school, the management school, makes the legal education truly a wholesome experience. And those 7 students who joined in the first batch, I still call them the 7 gems of the Shastra Law School, because they have been very, very, very instrumental in the progressive growth of their own careers and also the profession itself, because I'm very happy that almost everybody are practicing the profession. The alumna Kripa, who will be addressing, also was a practicing lawyer. She also worked for a firm in their public policy, and now works for UNDP. That brings in a lot of inputs that is necessary to create the type of social engineering that UNDP is supposed to do. And law itself is legal education is a social engineering project. So this is the type of ecosystem that we always have in mind when we want to start something new. And the moment we start some new programs, there are students who want to be adventurous, and because it is natural, it is driven by their passion. The trigger to enter new programs is always by and large driven by passion to go and study the new program. Very rarely students join new programs because they did not get into any other program. Those are not the type of students who will be driven by the passion. But students like Kripa had a passion to make a mark in the field of legal profession. And she was one of those handful of students who joined the first batch. And after graduating, have been tracking her progress, and we've been interacting. And I must with all pride say that she is one who has really contributed and working towards achieving that aspirational goal to make a change, an impactful change in the legal profession. So Kripa will share how her formative years, being the student of the first batch, how it has added value to her ambition to become a very good legal professional. Kripa.
Thank you very much for this introduction, sir. I hope my audio is clear.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. And I must really thank Vaidhyasubramaniam for this opportunity and for almost all the other opportunities that you've given me, both during my college times and even after I've left college. And as you rightly mentioned, that we've continued to be in touch since 2008 when I first joined the college. I still remember it was a very enduring experience to even enter this class of intimate students we were 8, and of course after a dropout we were 7 that went on to graduate. So it was a very intimate classroom that we walked into, almost sharing the same sentiments as Mr. Sridhar was talking about his first engineering badge when he entered college after passing out of school. So here we were, and then this is September 2008. I vividly remember my mom coming to drop me, and then she found all my classmates, all of us sat for the orientation on the first day, and then we were just getting to know each other. It almost seemed like we knew each other even before we started classes. So that's how intimate that class was. And then the next thing we knew, I think in 5 years, we almost went on to set up the Mood Court Society and started participating in moods and things that we did not think was quite possible at that time on day one, that we thought it was just the 7 of us, what are we going to do? And then we also saw during our times the exponential increase in the number of students that started opting for law in Shastra. And like Vaidhyasubramaniam was saying, not just because they did not get admitted to any other program, but they were very convinced that it is quite possible for a private law university to offer a very comprehensive, not just a law degree, but like sir always keeps saying, a social engineering program. And that's how I've always seen the law program to be, that it's beyond just something that prepares you for conventional practice at the bar or just even taking up judicial services thereafter. So just a little bit about myself. I graduated in 2013, and I've had brief stints as a corporate lawyer. Again, thanks to the opportunity that came from Shastra, the first sort of 7 students, but that did not really deter the management from having campus placements for the 7 of us. So I joined TCS as a legal officer in Bombay. And after that, I really wanted to sort of try my hands at litigation, although I was quite convinced that I wanted to move into the policy space sometime in the future. So I also briefly litigated at the High Court, and then went on to join Ignite, which is TCS's policy program. And thereafter, I got myself Masters in Development Policy. And since then, I've been working with the United Nations Development Program. And looking back, when Vaidya sir gave me this opportunity to actually, to look back and see where have I come from when I actually left Shastra. Looking back, the foundation for my present sort of position was also laid at Shastra, because I remember one of the first moods that we wanted to participate in. And then we went and spoke to a couple of professors. We said, we are in our second year of the program. The last 1 year, I think we've sort of prepared ourselves. It's all about, letting ourselves, learn the fundamentals of law. But I think from this year onwards, we'd like to step out of the college and make other people know that there exists this law school called Shastra University, right? And the moot court society and the mooting scenario in law school that most of you from the incoming law batch would already be aware of was quite an opportunity. It's the equivalent of probably the Festember for engineering students to go out, network, and find fellow sort of law students from other national law schools and other law schools. So this was the first UNHCR moot that we were participating. And the only thing we wanted to do at that point was to just participate and, see the quality of our fellow sort of students from other colleges. But to our surprise, we were so good that we did not really expect. And I was adjudged the best speaker in that moot. And that really took a lot of these other sort of participants by surprise, that what is this law school? Who is this sort of, a speaker who's from a nearby law school? And that's how it was. So it really laid the foundation for us to do much greater things during the course of those 5 years. So which is why I would always, attribute every single thing. And this is my really small way of keeping in touch with Vaidya sir, to also say that somewhere what I'm doing connects back to the ethos of the law program that I went into soon after school. So similarly, the work that I do as part of UN Development Program is a lot of liaising with government officers and with the communities that I work in. And I think with a lot of conviction, I can say that the foundation for this was laid at the Free Legal Aid Committee that we set up as the first and the second batch students. So we would go to Tirumalai Samudram and we would talk to the people there about rights-based approach to entitlements and things like that. So somewhere that's always stuck with me, and the kind of work that I do is largely informed by, like I said, the ethos of the social engineering with which the program itself was started. And secondly, I think like all the previous speakers have emphasized, there's been never a dearth of opportunity at Shastra. In fact, I remember being given an opportunity to anchor the convocation for 4 years in a row, and also being a part of several knowledge forum and thinkers forum that Shastra has hosted, to be a part of those things, and then continue to have personal interactions and invitations even after one has left college. So there's never really leaving this community or leaving this family, as Kyle very rightly said. There is always a sense of belongingness that sort of takes you back, and then just makes you want to feel ever grateful to the kind of foundation that you did not even know that you were building for yourself, as just being a part of the student and the journey and the experiences that came with it. So I just want to quickly, take a moment to welcome everybody on board once again. And we're always here. Most of the new students who come in, they always reach out to alumni on LinkedIn or through friends of friends, or through just personal connections at either at workplace or during internship. So we're always here. And even though we did not have it in the first batch, when we came in, we did not really have a set of seniors to look up to, but I'm sure in the last few years that we've graduated from the law school, we've done a fairly good job of having a good set of talent pool that the newcomers can always sort of, come back to and network both for opportunities and for just, general talks about life and plans and things like that. So we're always happy to give back in whatever small ways we can. Yeah, so that's it from me.
Thank you, Kripa, for a quick recap of those momentous events that you were an integral part of. And it is only because of the efforts of students like Kripa, for most of you who are wondering how the Shastra Law School managed to bring the India's most coveted Nani Palkiwala taxation moved to its campus. Of course, efforts from those people who helped me in that. It is also court competitions all over the country, prestigious moods. So these are the ones that kind of catch the attention of those organizers. And that's one of the reasons why the Nani Palkiwala tax moot got shifted from GLC Bombay to the Shastra Law School from 2015 onwards. We've been conducting and we will be conducting eternally the India's prestigious tax moot. And this time the tax moot is going to happen on October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So this is how the law school has also built a reputation. And today it stands amongst the best law schools in the country. And this is all because of the efforts of the students and the committed faculty in the School of Law. I started off with the legacy of the institution in 1984 and how it is as we see Shastra as today. And in the middle came a very, very proud moment of achievement, which I thought I will reserve for the last. And that is the Srinivasa Ramanujan Center in Kumbakonam. That's one of our campuses in Kumbakonam that was established in honor to perpetuate the mathematical legacy and genius that Srinivasa Ramanujan left behind, not only in India, but also to the entire world. It was in 1999 when Dr. Kalam was that time with the defense, DRDO, and then later shifted to the as the principal scientific advisor to the Prime Minister. He had suggested, why don't you do something for Srinivasa Ramanujan? So we went to Kumbakonam and purchased the house of Srinivasa Ramanujan that he used to stay as a schoolboy in Kumbakonam from his family members and established the Ramanujan house there. We actually demodernized the house and converted it into a traditional house that it used to be during the time of Srinivasa Ramanujan. Converted that into a max tuition class. And while we were at it in 2001, when we became a university, we made an application to the central government and wanted us a recognition to be called as Srinivasa Ramanujan Center as a campus of this university, which the MHRD agreed and also brought this under the ambit of Shastra. And that's when we built that structural edifice called the Srinivasa Ramanujan Center in Kumbakonam. And by the time Dr. Kalam became the President of India, and he readily accepted our invitation to come and inaugurate the center and also visit Srinivasa Ramanujan's house and have a museum. He was the one who named the museum as House of Ramanujan Mathematics. And that's the year in 2003 we announced the Shastra Ramanujan Award, which today by many of the experts in the world, mathematics experts, the Shastra Ramanujan Award, which carries a cash award of $10,000 given to any outstanding mathematician around the world under the age of 33, considering that Srinivasa Ramanujan lived for 33 years, for making extraordinary contributions in the fields influenced by Ramanujan. And this award is given by Shastra every year on Srinivasa Ramanujan's birthday on December 22nd, where the award winner comes to Kumbakonam, delivers the Srinivasa Ramanujan birthday commemorative lecture and accepts the award. And it's an honor to, see a lot of these mathematicians from the Princeton and Cambridge and Harvard and all other places all over the world come and receive the award, which includes, Professor Manjul Bhargava, whom many of you know. Recently, he was part of the NEP committee. He won the Fields Medal. He came for the Music Academy Annual Sadas 2 years back. So Manjul Bhargava was the first Sastra Ramanujan Award winner in 2005. So I should, with all humility, take the credit of spotting Manjul Bhargava as early as 2005, and he was also conferred with the Padma Bhushan 2 years back. And those who won the Sastra Ramanujan Award went forward ahead to win the Fields Medal in mathematics. In Nobel, there is no Nobel Prize for mathematics, but Fields Medal is considered to be equivalent for Nobel. And as on date, ever since we conceptualized and instituted the award in 2005, we have 6 Sastra Ramanujan Award winners winning the Fields Medal after they won the Sastra Ramanujan Award. And that's one of the reasons why it is today considered as one of the top 10 awards in mathematics in the world. Now, that's the Sastra Ramanujan Award story. But the SRC campus in Srinivasa Ramanujan Center is predominantly driven by programs that fall under the arts, science, humanities category, because it's a non-residential campus. We don't have hostels there, so meant for students from in and around the neighborhood for programs in BSc, BCom and other divisions, as well as 2 engineering programs restricted to computer science and ECE. So that's the Srinivasa Ramanujan Center in Kumbakonam for you. So students and parents and all those who are watching this panel, the orientation discussion, the first session is just to give you a kind of a capsulated form of Shastra. And as the name suggests, it is Shanmuga Arts, Science, Technology and Research Academy. And that is why it offers UG, PG, PhD programs in engineering, management, law, arts, science, humanities, education. So it is a compendium of different disciplines of education put together in a flavor that promotes a sense of interdisciplinarity. So you will see students from law programs coming and sitting with engineering students, students in engineering sitting in law programs, management programs. And that's the interdisciplinarity that is built into this program. And I welcome the freshers once again into this new world of experience that you will be undertaking as you engage with your academic pursuits at Sastra. And as I told you before, this is a session that will not have question and answers, which doesn't mean that the other questions will follow suit the same way. The next session is going to be a session of question and answers. That's when we're going to start discussing more about the academic structure, rules, regulations, hostel rules. So please be ready with your questions also. The session is from 11 o'clock. This one worked on a very regimental time schedule. Thanks to all the panelists for sticking to that time limits. And I would take the opportunity to thank the alumni on behalf of the Shastra family. You are also a part of the Shastra family, but you have taken your time off. And the next session begins at 11, though it is 11 to 12:30. I know all of you will have already, a question paper in your hand. So we can definitely go beyond 12:30. We can go up to 1, 2, as long as you have the appetite to ask questions. We have the appetite to give you the answers. So thank you all again for joining this first session. And I eagerly look forward to see you on the other side for the second session that begins at 11 o'clock. Thank you very much and have a safe stay. Thank you.